Hey, so it's Saturday the 9th of June 2012 and it's my 300 and somethings video. Didn't want to get the number wrong, so I'm just not going to say it. And I want you to prepare your eyeballs for a video that actually has decent content and decent things for me to talk about. Okay, so this is going to be one of those videos where I'm actually going to tell you about stuff and actually stuff that I'm interested about, and I've actually planned something and it's actually going to be good, but this just seems like a massive cry of attention, so I'm going to stop doing that. Okay, so yesterday evening I said I was having a bit of a night in, and I did, because what I did is I decided to clear some space off my laptop because it was running unbelievably slow and it did my head in the fact that I've bought this from Apple and it doesn't work, which is actually the case for a lot of people when they buy Apple products, that they don't actually work. But they're just very pretty and shiny, and I wanted my pretty and shiny thing to work, so I decided to try and find a way to free up all this space. I've got a 750GB standard memory in my laptop, and it only had 20GB free, so somehow I was using 730, really good maths there, gigabytes to hold a whole load of files that I'm pretty sure don't need to be on my laptop. So I finally came up with a solution that took me ages to figure out, even though it was massively abundantly obvious, and the reason that my laptop had so little memory free was that every single one of my YTO videos was still a project file on my laptop, so I had 310 different projects, all with the footage on 3 times. So deleting all these projects cleared up a shed load of space, but it also means that I can never edit any other projects for my YTO, but then I realised that I don't really need to at any point, because when I do a highlights reel or like the best of, I'm only going to be using stuff that's actually in the actual videos, so going into the projects would be not beneficial to me in any way. So now my laptop actually finally works and I'm really happy. It's slow a bit in some respects and I still need to do a crap load of clearing, but I've basically got like 300 gig free now, which is really good for me, and this isn't very interesting, so I'm going to move on. So last night Matt Love played in the George and Dragon in Risborough, and it was an alright gig. There wasn't enough people there for it to be a proper good Matt Love set, because he only really gave us about 24 hours notice. I knew about it obviously because I work there, but other people didn't find out until he made the event on Facebook like 3 days before. There was a really strange guy in the pub yesterday that I thought was with a few people and was talking to them and stuff, and he was from Huddersfield, which is somewhere to north, and he was insistent of buying everyone drinks. So I only had a £5 on me at that point, and so I bought myself a pint of Foster's, £3.50, cheapest pint in Risborough, and I sat there drinking that, and then he bought me a drink and bought himself a drink, and then a whole load of stuff happened that basically resulted in this man being ever so slightly forcefully removed. So I sat on the bar with my free pint that he had bought me, and a free pint that he had bought himself that he was no longer allowed to claim. So I ended up getting 3 pints for £3.50, and because I was in such a good mood when I finally turned up to the pub at about 10 o'clock, I got really hammered really quickly. Yesterday was my friend Kim Finch's birthday. Happy birthday, Kim. You're not watching this, but I'm just going to put it out there just in case you do. And she came down to the pub with her boyfriend and we sat and we were chatting and stuff, because me and Kim went to school together along with our friend Sky. And Sky had got Kim an awesome birthday present. She had showed up with it, and because I was a bit drunk I was like, you need to tell me what it is, I want to know what's in this big box, because it was amazingly well presented and like it had bows on it and really nice wrapping paper, but she still wouldn't tell me what it was. So eventually when Kim turned up to the pub and we had a bit of a chat and stuff, Sky gave her a present and she opened it and it was a book of their trip to America. Sky and Kim did a 50 states in 60 days sort of challenge thing. I don't think they did all 52 states in the time they were over, they did about 35 states. And they went on this massive trip and it's for about 2 months. And Sky had made this amazingly intricate book. Obviously it was one of those online jobs, she hadn't physically like made it and collaged it, but it was amazingly beautiful and Kim was really happy for it. And I obviously don't know the appeal of it because obviously I wasn't one of those 2 people, but it still seemed like an amazingly sentimental present that I thought was really awesome, and I love to do presents like that to people where it's not just like a card or a voucher for iTunes and it's just something that they can be like, ah, you know me, you're my friend, I no longer have to kill you. So after this we went over to the White Leaf, which is basically like the competition pub in Risborough. It's basically across the road from the pub that I work at, and I found out the reason why I don't ever drink there anymore is because it's ridiculously expensive. I ordered a round of drinks for me and Kim, because obviously it was her birthday, and Kim's boyfriend. I didn't get Sky a drink obviously because Sky was, obviously, as if you know, no, Sky was driving and so obviously she wasn't drinking. So I bought a pint of Beck's, a pint of Foster's and 2 shots of Aftershock and a double vodka and Red Bull, which came to about £14, which would have been about £10 maybe in the pub I work at, so I was like, oh my god, your competition prizes are so unbelievably high, I'm never coming back here. Yeah, we had that and it was a bit annoying. And then I decided to play darts. Now, as I said in a couple of videos ago, I've realised that I'm actually almost okay at darts. Which isn't really a sport because it's the universal rule that if you can smoke while doing it, it's not a sport. So table tennis isn't a sport, snooker isn't a sport, and darts isn't a sport. Basically anything that you can play in a pub isn't really a sport. And Sky said that she wanted to play darts as well, so I was like, alright, cool. Someone that actually wants to play a game. The reason that I discovered that I was good at darts was when I was playing with my manager Gemma, who is on a darts team, and I'd had a few to drink, and the thing about darts is if you've had a couple to drink, your hand goes from that to that, which is like, you know, perfect darts thing. But obviously if you had 3 or 4 pints in a really good mood on an empty stomach like I had, your arm went from that to that to that. Which kind of affected my darts game a little bit, which means I got absolutely destroyed by Sky, and she was very happy with herself that she had won a game of darts. Several, actually. About 7. Okay, the next bit that I want to talk about is the movies that are coming out soon. Well, the movies that I'm interested in seeing personally, and the fact that there's only 2 on the list, but they were just the best ones I saw in the iTunes movie trailers that I was watching for the last half an hour. The first film I want to talk about is Flight, directed by Robert Zemeckis. It stars Denzel Washington as a pilot who wakes up in hospital and sees on the news that the plane that he was flying not 24 hours before had been in a very serious plane crash, and it's the whole investigation as to whether or not it was his fault, and he has no memory of blacking out, but then there's alcohol in his bloodstream, and it's amazing. Denzel Washington is one of my all-time favourite actors, and he has been involved in many of my favourite films. For example, Man on Fire, Inside Man, Deja Vu, and my most recent, one of my most favourite films, Book of Eli, which is an amazing film. If you haven't seen it, you definitely need to. It's just amazing. It also has Don Cheadle, who played Captain James Rhodes and War Machine in Iron Man, and that was just a fantastic role, an amazing character, but it also has John Goodman in. Now, John Goodman isn't my favourite actor per se, but he's in a lot of stuff as a voiceover actor, which I think is amazing. For example, he played Larry in Father of the Bride, which was a really low-budget animated show that was out about 4 or 5 years ago that me and my sister Harriet were really into when it came out, but not many people know about it. And if you haven't watched it, it will be available for download on Pirate Bay or something, but not from Pirate Bay, because Pirate Bay is being shut down. He also played Patcher in The Emperor's New Groove and The Emperor's New Groove 2 and Kronk's New Groove and The Emperor's New Groove TV series, if it's not abundantly obvious. He was in The Emperor's New Groove. He also played the character of Leighton T. Montgomery in B-Movie, where he played a very wise southern lawyer who was quite overweight but quite a hilarious character. And of course, we wouldn't be able to say anything about John Goodman without mentioning the fact that he was Sully in Monsters Inc., which is one of the best animated films ever made. The final film that I want to see is Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted. It's got all the original casting with Ben Stiller as Alex, Chris Rock as Marty, David Schwimmer as Melman, and the obviously Mrs. Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith as Gloria, which is really odd because I had to actually look up who played Gloria, because I swear it was Wanda Sykes who played Stella in Over the Hedge, which is also a really good animated film that you need to see if you haven't already seen it. And of course it's got Sacha Baron Cohen, aka the Dictator, as King Julian, who is my favourite animated character in anything because everything he says is hilarious. It also centres around the penguins as well as the main subject of the film, and I love the penguins. They were like the best part of the first 2 films, minus of course King Julian because he was the best of the best, but the penguins were the second best for me. The plot is basically the same as the second one, and I think the first one, but I haven't seen the first one in a while, that they are really far away from New York and they're just trying to make their way back to the Big Apple and Central Park Zoo. When they are in Europe, they get hunted down by the pest control that is based in Berlin with this very scary German woman. So they decide to hide out in a Eastern European circus, which proves hilarious. And I didn't want to put any like sound or anything in this from it in case I get sued, but I have to put in this one clip from the trailer that just made me piss myself.
We just lay low, just until the heat dies down.
We're invisible.
Marty?
Da circus, da Afro circus, Afro circus, Afro polka dot, Afro.
Really?
Move it! So yeah, that's Madagascar 3, and I cannot wait to see that. I reckon it's going to be my favourite animated film, or maybe even film this year. If The Dark Knight Rises doesn't come out this year, I think it does. So yeah, the final thing I want to talk about is a YouTube recommendation, which I haven't done in a while, but that's because I've never really found anyone that I really want to plug. But when I was on this acting job in London, I met a girl called Corinne. She said to me that she did music covers and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, it's going to be quite cool. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and find it now, because I wanted to see if she was any good. And I had to go through a whole load of Twitter pages to find this one person that had favourited a video and found it. And when I did, oh my god, She is so unbelievably talented and you really need to check out her stuff. She's only got about 225 subscribers more than me, but I don't care. And she really needs to get more of a following because she's a fantastic, fantastic performer. And she plays guitar and sings. The one video that I found the most, not moving, but just properly impressed me was her cover of Warwick Avenue by Duffy. And I don't know if she'll mind, but I'm just going to put a clip of it in here. So, here it is.
When I get to Warwick Avenue, meet me by the entrance of 2. We can talk things over a little time.
Obviously I can't show you the full video because that way you'll see it in my video when she's the one that needs the views for it. So if you go to her YouTube channel, which is Corinne Music, and listen to all her stuff, she's fantastic and she needs to get more of a following so then she'll become rich and famous. So yeah, that's basically it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed making it quite a lot because I've got to put in all those clips from Madagascar and all the other stuff that's going on. And yeah, that's basically it from me. I'm just going to quickly edit this video and then go do some cleaning, and then I'm going out to my friend Becky Lomas's 18th birthday. She is Amanda, if you've seen in my bag of weed video. She is the girl that's dancing that isn't my sister, and it's her little sister Becky's 18th birthday, and obviously with Amanda being such a fantastic influence on her little sister, she's going to get unbelievably hammered, and the fact that Becky and Emily are also going, and myself, that girl's going to be hanging out her arse! Which I kind of am right now because of last night and I haven't taken any painkillers. Anyway, I'm rambling, that's about enough from me. Thank you very much for watching, please comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. It's also got Don Cheadle, who was in Iron Man, who played Captain Knuckle. That's not his name.